Hello again, I'm Tara here at the Hobby Lobby Creative Studio, and in this video I'll tell you all about sewing pattern pieces, how to lay them out, what the symbols mean, and more. If you missed our first two How to Read a Sewing Pattern videos, be sure to check those out first. Alright, to begin, roughly cut out the pieces you need for your project and set the rest aside. If you're not sure which ones those are, watch our first two sewing pattern videos for a refresher. Now that you have all your pieces, you can more carefully cut them down to the exact size you need, following the printed guides. Be careful to follow the lines for your particular size when you get to areas like this on the pattern. Notice that I'm using my fabric scissors to cut these pieces out? That's okay. This paper won't dull or damage my nice sharp scissors. Usually though, keep your fabric scissors for cutting fabric only, and make sure that they have a flat bottom blade like this. That keeps the fabric as close to the table as possible while you cut, reducing any distortion. Okay, here's where you'll use the layout guide from the instructions to start placing your numbered pieces. We're starting with this one, along the fold line. You'll see an arrow labeled Center Fold, which indicates where the pattern piece should line up with the fold line. Once you have that positioned, just pin it together with both layers of fabric. The next piece I'm going to pin, which is from the bag I made, doesn't have a center fold line, but it does have a grain line that's indicated by this double-ended arrow. To get this positioned correctly, you'll use a measuring tape to make sure both the ends of the grain line are equidistant from the selvage edge. This piece runs along what's called the straight grain of the fabric, but you might have a piece like this that needs to be cut on the bias. The bias runs at a 45-degree angle from the straight grain and gives pieces more stretch. So however your grain lines fall on your pattern pieces, be sure to follow them. It's important for getting the final product to turn out how it should. Once all your pieces are pinned down, you're ready to start cutting. But first, take note of the little triangles on your pattern pieces. These are called notches, and there are a few different ways to treat them. You can cut inward on each notch with a small slit or triangle like this after you've cut the pieces out completely, or cut outward points as you go around. I like cutting out from the pattern like this for two reasons. First, having outward points makes it easier to match up pieces later, which is exactly what these markings are for. And second, this area here is the seam allowance, or the part right next to where you'll be sewing, so I prefer leaving that solid and free of cuts. Depending on your project, your pattern pieces could have a variety of other markings. For example, these dashed and solid lines tell me where pleats should go. This tunic we made has several. And these circles represent meeting points, like where the two sides and zipper of our bag had to meet. To keep track of them, use either a sewing pin or water-soluble marker to mark the fabric. Now, there are probably other lines, markings, and symbols on your pattern that I haven't explained. Just check your pattern instructions for details on what those mean. The last thing you'll want to make sure to read is the middle of the pattern piece here. This one, for instance, needs to be cut out multiple times, once on my main fabric and again on contrasting fabric. So are you feeling confident about reading sewing patterns? I hope so. It's been great showing you the ins and outs of getting started using sewing patterns. Don't miss all the other great videos we have for you too on sewing and so much more. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time at the Hobby Lobby Creative Studio.